All right, everyone. As an upfront caveat, of course, I am not Team Palestine or Team Israel. I'm Team United States. I don't personally have any skin in the game because I'm not a Palestinian or an Israeli, and I would like to stay out of the struggle that's going on there because there's nothing we can do to help at this point. It's quite clear that these people are intent upon slaughtering one another to the last man. I don't understand why we're bothering to send money to Israel at the moment or to organize aid for Gaza. It's not going to help. Biden delivering 20 trucks full of aid through Rafah the other day. Yes, that'll be enough to feed 1/10 of the people that have been displaced in Gaza for about one day. That's going to be really helpful. Okay, keep them on life support a little bit more. But you get a golf clap and a pat on the head, an extra scoop of ice cream for being such a great humanitarian. But there's one group of people that are uniquely bad at messaging when it comes to what's going on right now. It boggles the mind. And those are the Leftoids, which are all lock, stock, and barrel on board with Hamas. And no, I don't mean they support the Palestinians and don't want them to suffer. No, I don't mean they want aid for Gaza. No, I don't mean that they want to stop settlements in the West Bank, so they're pro-Palestinian. I mean pro-Hamas. Rashida Tlaib and some of these other goofballs in Congress at this point might as well just wave the Al-Qaeda flag. Because really, if you look at their messaging on the subject, it's pretty similar. It sounds like something that Osama would say. Here's the problem. Even their fellow liberals are jumping down their throats now. John Fetterman came out the other day to excoriate Rashida Tlaib. Her messaging singularly so bad. I mean, she's sitting out there whipping people up into a frenzy with the pro-Palestinian protest, the insurrection the other day at the Capitol Rotunda. You'll notice that nobody so far has gotten a 20-year sentence levied against them for that insurrection, because that one had the blessing of the Uniparty. Interesting apples to oranges there. Fetterman is relatively far left. He's in the category, I'd put him around with like Elizabeth Warren, so a so-called progressive, which really means regressive, somebody who is on the edge of socialism. If you can't get John Fetterman to give your messaging a blessing, when, at least to your constituents, and to her credit, Rashida Tlaib understands her constituents are extremely far left, they're mainly communists. If you can't even get the relatively far left liberals, so the people that straddle that line between socialism and mixed market economics and sort of want to be silent on issues like this, if you can't get them to not criticize you, then boy oh boy is it a real stinker. And Rashida Tlaib, I think, still has the Palestinian flag right in front of her office. Personally, I don't think any flag other than the U.S. flag should be flown anywhere in the Capitol. That includes the Israeli flag that every other politician has on there as a lapel pin right now. What the fuck? I thought that your main goal as elected officials within the United States was to represent the United States and its interests. That seems to have fallen by the wayside. The left wants to represent Palestine now, and the right wing wants to represent Jerusalem. So, basically, they've just all forsaken us. We're second-class citizens in our own country, I guess. I mean, I thought it was funny, and Fetterman actually finally being coherent. He manages to muster up coherence for a couple of sentences when he's talking about one of his own fellow Democrats and how fucking stupid she is. I think that it's mainly for strategic purposes. Behind closed doors, Fetterman probably has a relatively nuanced opinion on this issue. It's one of the few things on which members of the kinda left are more prosaic. Because they tend to have the view that I have. It's like, I'm not pro either side because they just keep fucking killing each other. In public, though, U.S. politicians, typically, they huzzah for Israel. In private, at least, normally the leftists actually support Hamas. But Tlaib and a few of the others do it more openly now. Like Ilhan Omar never got the memo, hey, it's probably bad strategically for the party at the national level if you're coming out and making tweets and doing press conferences and news bits and you're saying that, Gaza needs to be liberated because that's the same term that Hamas uses. Now, you may have a legitimate gripe against the concept of 2 million people being in an open-air ghetto, and you do. The problem is that your messaging sucks dick. And these people don't understand that. They've been locked into an echo chamber where the whole country represents the little leftoid community that they represent in Congress. So they represent part of one New York borough, or, you know, a chunk of Detroit or something like that, and they think that that's the country. It's the same problem that the limousine liberals have, by the way. They think they don't know anything about Wyoming or Iowa or any place like that. Hell, even Vermont, other than they go to Church Street in Burlington, and then they go up to Killington. That's the only part of Vermont they know about. The Northeast Kingdom to them doesn't exist. Anything south of Manchester certainly doesn't exist. You know, the whole southern end of Vermont that looks like a giant dark hillside with nobody in it, basically. That's not there. Hell, outer Rutland and the Green Mountains, unless they happen to be a hiking tourist or something. They go leaf peeping maybe. They see the trees change color, and then they go back to Central Park. They've got the same fundamental issue, including people like Fetterman. They think the whole country is like them. They don't pump their own gas, in other words. Well, that's why they think that they genuinely think that the economy is doing okay, because they don't suffer any repercussions for it sucking. Likewise, the far left fringe doesn't even understand, I think, why it's taking flack by, like, the Warrenite Democrats within the party. I genuinely think Rashida Tlaib doesn't understand why she's being dragged by Fetterman and Schumer and even to an extent Joe Biden. Fucking Rashida Tlaib right now is setting up a civil war within the Democratic Party. Between the Geek Squad, which is her, Omar, Presley, Tlaib, those were the original, the Gang of Four, you know, the goofballs. And now it's grown. I think now it's 7 or 8 people that they have in their little anti-freedom caucus. They're setting up to fight Joe Biden over the issue and potentially stymie things on that level, but they will be unsuccessful. All of the Republicans and all the neoliberals are locked solid behind Israel. Supermajority House, supermajority Senate, a ballless president, all the people who back him are on the same side. They won't be able to stop anything. It'll be interesting to watch a handful of Democrats depart from their own party's proposed budget, which it will come from the Democrats, that'll include, you know, 10 trillion zillion dollars for Jerusalem or something like that. And then they'll get kicked out of Congress maybe because the party will refuse to support them. Then they'll go full jank, and they'll pretend that they were always independent the whole time and wage a holy war against their own political party. I'm loving watching it. Watching the schism is fun. You're managing, by the way, to do what... I mean, you're overshadowing the Republicans. They can't even get a House Speaker when they control the House. You're managing to one-up them. You're doing what Republicans normally do. The Leftoids are acting more like a Kevin McCarthy right now. It's inexplicable. They're not of sound mind. Certainly not a Ilhan Omar. I mean, she did marry her brother. It appears that that is true, by the way. There has never been any form of counterproof or countermand other than a denial from Ilhan Omar or anyone backing her. There's never been 1 inch of credibility given to the denial, as there's literally nothing to go on. I think that she did. Yeah, I think that she had sex with her own biological brother. And, yeah, that's a little bit beyond the pale. It would explain some of her political views. You know, consanguineous marriage does tend to be more common in some parts of the world than others, and, you know, it's normally not brother and sister, it's normally like cousins or something like that, for 5 generations in a row. Then when your family tree is a bamboo stalk, normally you get Alabama, so, I don't know, she'll have to find a new constituency, I suppose. That's about all. Peace out.